Welcome back, everyone, to our latest book club episode, part 4 of Metal Gear Solid 4: Guns of the Patriots. As always, Christian, this is your game, and
Yeah,
we have a lot to get to, so I will pass it right over to you.
we do. Yeah, we're getting to the end game here,
I
guys.
know.
I
There's
think
actually a lot of gameplay in this one, too.
there is, which means that this will actually be a shorter wrap up because we really don't talk about the gameplay sections that much.
Yeah.
It's fine. We have a 71-minute cutscene in this next one, so it's
Yeah.
okay.
I was like, it's the last
Yeah.
part. I looked it up. I'm like, okay, when's the big one? It's like, this is a 70-minute epilogue at the end of this
Yeah.
next part. So it'll be the beefy
Yeah,
part.
full disclosure, when I played through this part this week, I was like, or last week, I was like, yeah, I can't stop. I was like, I just want to
You just
play.
finished it?
Because I knew
So
it was coming, and so I finished
uh,
it, and when I got to the end, or when I got to that scene, I was like, sitting there, and I don't remember what I had to do.
can
It was
watch
like
it
something
later.
dinner related or whatever, and I was like, it's getting close. And honestly, I'll talk about it more next week, but it brought back a nostalgia moment of that specific kind of thing happening. And I was like, man, some things change and some things stay the fucking same. But
I almost did that this week. I had the same thing. I had just
Both of
finished
you.
this part. I know.
I've
I just
played
finished
this game
part,
before.
and, like, I was outside doing some yard work. I came back in. I had some more time till Allie got off, and I was like, I could just finish up this game, but I didn't.
Thank you for
Preston,
controlling
I
yourself.
didn't.
yes,
I
it is
know.
important for you to do this. I've already played this game before, so it's not
Yeah,
the
so
same
you didn't
thing
need to
for
find
me.
out. You already knew it was going to happen.
But it's the
I
last
just
part.
wanted
It's
to
not
do it
like
again.
it's not like I would have been playing through like 3 parts. It is like the next
Yeah.
thing we're talking about. So, but I didn't do it. So we're okay.
But yeah.
We're good.
So, but yes, there is tons of gameplay in this section. So, be sure to check the video down there, and you'll see Preston's sweet gameplay. But yeah, so we start with the mission briefing for Act 4 here. So this, same as always, apps with Sunny frying up some eggs, and she goes and puts the timer to 1 minute, and she sort of looks over at the rose that she got from Naomi, and it's very clear that she's, just having this moment of like, I wonder what Naomi's doing. And what'd you say, Preston?
No, what? Just, I had an
Yeah.
itch. I said I had an itch.
Yeah. No, I agree. But so the scene shifts, and we are seeing some footage from Otacon's fancy little Mark II that was clearly in the invisible mode doing some reconnaissance for us. And it cuts right to Liquid Ocelot saying, "We'll launch a stealth nuke warhead at JD." And you're like, well, we have escalated. Like,
Yes.
And but so Naomi's like, well, I thought you couldn't reach or you couldn't control a nuke with GW. And Liquid Ocelot is like, I don't know why I'm saying his full name. It's his government name. It's just Liquid. But anyway, he's like, we can't. We've taken over their
his literal government name.
government name.
which is-
Yeah, I know. But they're guns and heavy weapons. But the WMDs are still under JD's control. But he's like, that's where Rex comes in. And so obviously everyone's like, I'm sure everybody's ears perked up when he said that. And he's like, I know where to find the nukes they don't control. And he goes, Vamp, how long until Rex is ready? And Vamp was like, all that's left is the final check. We've identified JD's location through GW, an abandoned 20th century satellite orbit disguised as debris. And then, so that's really, the rest of this part here is them describing their plan. So Liquid mostly is just like, yeah, so the way to get around all of this shit is that I'm going to rip the railgun from Rex. I'm going to use that to just launch a nuke straight at the satellite. It will detonate. It'll blow up that satellite, killing JD. And once JD is destroyed as the core AI, every single priority sort of process will then funnel right down to GW, which is the one that Liquid controls. And so by that point, that will mean that all of the entire system will then be under his control, and then he's good to go. He can basically do whatever he wants. And as he finishes, he tells everybody like, okay, so get out there and let's make this happen. Naomi backs up as she gets ready to like leave off of the plane, and it bumps right into the Mark II. And Vamp picks it up and destroys it, and so then it cuts to Otacon being like, well, so the video feed cuts off from there, so they've smashed the Mark II, like it's done. And so from there we get the Snake and Otacon going back and forth, where Otacon is like, in the beginning, the Patriot system was controlled by 4 AIs with JD at the top, and one of those AIs was GW. The Patriots thought it had been destroyed, but Liquid was able to use it to cover to slip inside the system. And Otacon was like, GW is one of the Patriots' cell AIs. It was installed on Arsenal gear, obviously Metal Gear Solid 2 here. And he goes, Emma's worm should have put it out permanently, should have put it permanently out of commission, but Liquid somehow recovered and repaired it. I'm guessing JD must be unable to recognize GW, even though it's inside the Patriot system. It's sort of a blind spot. GW was written off as lost while it was still tied in, using it to let Liquid interfere with the AI from the inside. He made contact under the guise of Big Boss's genetic code, even the AI threat detection system was fooled. And Snake was like, so that means that makes it a haven on the network, free from oversight from the Patriots AI. And we get some flashbacks from the Big Shell incident here. And they both basically are like, that makes total sense now why they made Arsenal Gear go berserk 5 years ago. It's because GW was on board and powering Arsenal Gear. And so then from there, we get a call from Campbell. And Campbell's like, so the U.S. military systems are all in Liquid's hands now. The regional systems have all been shut down. Guns are falling silent across the earth. It's the first total ceasefire in human history. And Otacon goes, how's the White House responding? And the public? And Campbell goes, the president has yet to make an official announcement, but the media is starting to pick up on it. And Snake sort of like chimes in here in the background where he's like, the information is going to be controlled anyway, so like it doesn't matter. People are only going to hear what they need to be able to hear anyway. And Campbell actually goes, not this time. The war economy has ground to a complete halt. It's tough to play down a crisis of these proportions. War economy related stocks are already going into free fall. And Snake is in the middle taking a huge drag and starts coughing, and he goes, they must be shitting themselves at the White House right about now. And Campbell kind of like glares at him in a way that you could tell that Campbell's like, yeah, well, my stock portfolio is personally affected right now, so maybe don't make jokes about it. But then he's like, in any case, America had better sleep soundly while she still can. Liquid's insurrection is about to begin. The first thing he'll do is try to destroy the system the Patriots built to control the U.S. And really, the main thing is that as they're talking about his plan and they realize that he's going to use Rex, Otacon is like, Campbell, where is Rex now? And Campbell goes, I think you know. And he goes, a long-forgotten base in U.S. territory outside the Patriots' control, the place where Liquid made his debut, his monument off the Alaxan coast, Shadow Moses Island.
Hell yeah.
Snake finishes that for him and says Shadow Moses Island. And so we obviously get like a little a flashback here of that. And Campbell goes, if Liquid destroys JD and his GW assumes total control over the system, he'll have the world at his fingertips, and no one will be able to stop him, not even the Patriots. You're the only ones that can save us now. Snake, I'm counting on you. Defeat Liquid and put an end to his insurrection. And Snake starts so it cuts away here, and it's like, you know, a sort of like a sometime later, and it's Snake. Campbell's already hung up. Snake is out, and he begins to have the seizure again from his from the nanomachines. And as he goes to, he's like reaching for the syringe and injects himself with it. And he goes to start like standing basically off the chair. And he falls down again, and Otacon, you know, like runs over and sort of yanks the syringe out of his hand. And he goes, enough is enough, Snake. You can't take more of this or any more of this. And he's like, I'm not dead yet. And Otacon goes, That's not what I mean. You can't beat Liquid. He's got the Patriots' own control system on his side. Not only are the weapons useless, but the U.S. military is in shambles. And even if it weren't, Liquid's got enough men and machines to match it. And Snake starts basically coughing super hard, and Otacon has to hold him up. And he's like, things can't get any worse. And he goes, face it, Snake, we've lost. And because we've never stood a chance. And then Snake's like, it's not about winning or losing. We started this, and it's our duty to finish it. And as he starts to walk towards Raiden, who's still passed out on the dialysis machine, Sunny suddenly gets up and puts her arms out in front of Snake, you are not, do not fucking come near him. And Snake sort of puts his hand on his shoulder and reassures her that's not what I'm doing. I'm not gonna ask him to get up. Don't worry about it. But Raiden reaches past her and is like, let me go, Sunny. And she's like, no, your dialysis isn't done yet. Otacon goes, Snake, he's not ready yet. And Raiden then removes his oxygen mask and is like, I'll be fine. And he goes, from now on, I'm living my life by my own will. And he goes to sit up, but he's yanked back down to all of the cords that are holding him into the bed. And Snake just goes, and Raiden says, I won't live a proxy life, a slave to somebody else's will. And Snake is like, I'm a shadow, one that no light will shine on. As long as you follow me, you'll never see the day. And Raiden goes, you and I are both just pawns in this proxy war, but once this is over, we will have our freedom. And I'll release you. It's the only way I'll ever be free. And Snake was like, Raiden, 5 years ago, that's not what I meant. And so that actually is, obviously a direct callback to Snake trying to tell him, at the end of Metal Gear Solid 2, right, when he's trying to talk to Raiden about what he should be going to do. And it's Snake finally admitting to Raiden being because they obviously finally have a chance now. But it's him saying, you've misunderstood me completely. That is not what I was trying to tell you back then. And Raiden just goes, I've got nothing to lose. And Snake's like, don't be an idiot. You know that you have someone to protect. And Raiden just keeps, moping down. And he's like, it was never going to work out for me. It even rained the day I was born. And then Snake goes, first of all, when I say this line, the line that Raiden just said and the line that Snake just said, I don't know about you guys. It really felt to me as though Kojima was like, oh, I'm cooking with this one.
Got some real poetic shit right here, dog.
Yeah.
We're cooking with gas.
Yeah. But Snake goes, you've got it all wrong. You were the lightning in that rain, and you can still shine through the darkness. This, honestly, it kind of comes off as Kingdom Hearts ass writing.
That you're right. That is one of those where he's just kicking. He wrote that line and took a big drag off a cigar and took a shot. Was like,
he was like, man, I'm deep.
Yeah.
And Raiden, he goes, Raiden, look at me. And when he does this, he rips off the bandage on his face, and we finally see the aftermath of how fucked up he is after he got set on fire.
Yeah.
And both Otacon and Sunny kind of look away ooh, damn, that looks fucked up. And Snake goes, do you see this? And he goes, I have no future. In a few months, I'm going to be a weapon of mass destruction. He's like, but you have a family. And you can tell that obviously, Snake has now shared with everybody that he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to be a bioweapon soon. So, get used to it kind of thing. And Raiden is like, I have no family, I have nothing, and he kind of falls out of the bed, and he's holding on to Snake's leg, and he's like, I've always been alone. And then Snake, and he goes, don't leave me here. And Snake goes, this is my fight, it's my destiny. And Raiden passes out, and we get another transmission call, and who is it but our favorite save game screen person from Metal Gear Solid 1, but Mei Ling. Mm-hmm. And Mei Ling hits us up, and she's like, hey, I got the results back. It's official. Liquid is on Shadow Moses Island. We lost the Metal Gear Mark II signal along the way, but we can tell by the trajectory that that's where he's headed. That's where he's at. And she goes, here's a picture of an island taken by civilian imagery satellites. And if you guys know, this is basically the same photo of Shadow Moses that we got from the first game. It's kind of a little nod here. But it is a little bit different, and so Maylene goes, the sea line is rising due to global warming. Have you heard that the entire Fox archipelago is about to slip into the ocean? The surrounding islands have already been evacuated. And Liquid's arrival there can only mean... Or Snake goes, the Liquid's arrival there can only mean one thing. And Otacon's like, he's ready to use Rex. So then Maylene goes, that's how it looks from here. All the Metal Gears after Rex were embedded with system IDs. And so then Otacon goes, well, what did Washington do with it? And Maylene goes, the nuclear disposal facility on Shadow Moses hasn't been touched since the incident. So they just let it go. So the president of Arm Tech...
has it not been touched?
Yeah.
Like, everything is exactly how we left it.
Yeah, well, we don't know that yet, but we'll get there. But then, yeah, so the Maylene goes, the president of Arms Tech and the DARPA chief were killed, and the secretary of defense was arrested. By the time the incident was over, there wasn't a single person left there that knew what took place. And she goes, it was as if nothing had ever happened. The data was either falsified or erased, so no traces would be left behind. We were exiled to desk jobs for the same reason. Rex and the nuke should still be where they were 9 years ago, untouched. So then it was like, and she goes, and now the island is sinking too. Aragon's like, I thought I'd never go back. And she goes, it'll take me a while to get there, but I'll be backing you up from aboard the Missouri. She's the only ship in the fleet still able to move, since it was decommissioned before the system was put into place, and Hawaii is not that far anyway. Otacon, and she goes, oh, and then she stops and she's like, she says it's not that far away from the Fox archipelago anyway. And then she goes, by the way, Otacon, you're not wearing your glasses anymore? And he's like, like super embarrassed about it. Yeah, he's like, I'm wearing contacts, even though he's not. And she's like, all right, well, I'll see you guys there at Shadow Moses. And from there it fades out. We see the Nomad flying away. And this next section, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I actually I loved this little flashback here. But so Snake wakes up in like it's sort of like he's like having a nightmare almost. And he's in the back of the helicopter, and Otacon can be seen flying it. And he's like, is everything all right, Snake? And he goes, I was having that dream again. We're here at Shadow Moses. So the dream he's talking about is we get to basically play through the intro of Metal Gear Solid 1. So that first little section.
Cool. I made me so happy. I saw this. I'm like, oh, you fucking kidding me? This is awesome. Like,
yeah,
I was excited.
Dude.
When I found out we're going to Shadow Moses, I was excited all I'm like, oh my God, we're going to be able to go Shadow Moses. It's going to be like new graphics. I'm like, I don't need a remake of 1 now. We're going to fucking Shadow Moses. Why would I need that? And when they pop you in, and it's like the old school graphics. Like, this is so fucking cool.
I snuck in like the same way that I did back in the day. Like I knew right where to go. I did run across the middle section where there were no spotlights to see if there's anything there. There were a couple of items to pick up like around. I was like, very cool. It was
I was searching along.
Yeah, and those items are in the same spot they were in the original game too, right? So they're all it's all still right there. Yeah, man, I love this flashback. I think it's so cool. It's so well done. But yeah, so when you finish it and you get back into the hangar part, is when Snake wakes up and is like, I was having that dream again. And then, so like I said, as Otacon says, we're here at Shadow Moses. So Snake sort of looks out and there's a giant blizzard, and we see, to Preston's point, a fully new, realized version of Shadow Moses now. But in all of the glory of the PS3, right? So it's looking a lot better than the PS1 days. But yeah, so as they get to go out, so Snake sort of takes the new Metal Gear robot. It's basically the same thing as the Mark II, except Otacon has made it red now. I don't know, hey, maybe it's Warhammer things. Maybe red makes it go faster. It totally could be that. Yeah, so Snake takes the new Metal Gear and he goes to jump out. And as soon as he lands, he kind of like he almost like twists his ankle and injures his back, and he's like, "Oh fuck!" And then Otagon's like, "Hey, are you all right?" And he's like, "Yeah, I just slipped. Like, you need to. I gotta hurry now. I don't have a lot of time." And then he introduces us to the Mark III, and he goes, "By the way, this is the last replacement, so try not to break it." And Snake goes, "Who? Me? Never." And from there, it's basically just like, hey, look, we know where we need to go, right? So just start making your way up to Shadow Moses here, and from here, there's a couple different things that happen. There are story things, but I'm gonna sort of skip to the next story beat. But I do want to talk about with you guys just in general about making our way through here, because there are little bits of like little Easter eggs, right? So as we make our way through, you start to realize like there are no people left on the island. It's just unmanned drones, right? So there's the gecko, and then there's the little hand robots that I fucking hate. And
we haven't learned that much about the hand robots, have we? Like we saw them roll in the cutscene earlier in Russia or wherever, right? With
we just know their names. So Otacon just says that they're the mini gecko or whatever it is they're called. I can't remember.
Right.
Now.
I thought they might have
when
something
they
to do
rolled
with
in under the trench coat.
the new like Psycho Mantis person or whoever it is, like because that person had a lot of hands around. So I'm assuming because they have all hands all over them, I'm assuming that it had something to do with that BB, but I'm not sure if that's true or not.
They are part of that unit.
Sure.
So yes, that is why we're seeing them now, is because, spoiler alerts, one of the BMBs that we fight in this section is the Screaming Mantis person. But so that is why we have not seen them. Huh?
In this
We don't
part,
fight Screaming
we fight
Mantis in this
Beast.
section. Yeah, we don't fight Screaming Mantis in this.
That's still in part. No, you're right.
That's what happens when you play ahead.
Oh my god, whatever. Anyway, but they're together, and so but that is why those those hand robots are. So the point was that Preston, you are correct. They are part of
by the
that
way,
unit.
do not stop spawning when you get caught by them. You're just like, I'm just gonna take them all out, and they just keep on coming, Like, what the fuck?
Without, I'm not getting any spoilers because you're gonna talk through this. There are two things I want to say. This playthrough, part 4, has a couple of my favorite moments, but I would say like the top 2 best moments in this game so far in this play section, and a couple of the worst moments of the playthrough so far in this section. They somehow really balanced that. And one hack shit thing that I noticed that I'll call out when we get there too, that I rolled my eyes at. But beyond that, like to Preston's point, I loved making my way through Shadow Moses because everything felt so good. Also, they did this weird balancing act of like, hey, you remember this, look how cool this is, what a throwback, you remember all these places, while adding this bit of like horror game to it.
Like PTSD kind of thing, to where you're getting flashbacks and sounds of like what you
Well, it is,
you're,
right?
You're sneaking, but you're also sneaking through because there are so many drones, and like some like have chase sequences and other stuff. Like it is a legit like horror section.
Like that section where you fight like Vulcan Raven. Like I go into there, I'm kind of looking around like, oh, I know there's a mine right here. I'm gonna go crawl up and get that mine. And I walk up and it's next to one of those frozen gecko. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know why this fucking gecko's here in Frozen, but all right. And as soon as like, well, I don't think they're doing anything, and it fucking busts open, and I sit there and try to fight this thing for like 15, 20 minutes. I'm like, I can't take these out. Later on, I figure out a better way to take them out, but the way I was trying was not working out. And I wasted too much time in that section. I'm like, I just want to explore. I want to get all those little flashbacks happening. I want to get the items, but not get these 2 fucking geckos here kicking me around and shit.
Yeah. So yes, and that's mostly this whole section, right? As we make our way to the hangar where Rex is supposed to be at, it really is just like this cascading of memories, but then also sort of subverting some of those memories, right? Like, so one of the things is like we make our way down towards like past like where Otacon's office is. He's like, hey, you can just go straight through. And then Snake's like, the door's not opening. He's like, oh, that's weird. I don't remember us closing it before, but okay, that's fine. We'll just go the other way around. So you can hit the generator and open this way up. So it's like little things like that as you're going through, right? Like it's like, oh, you left it this way, but something has changed. So you thought, right? And like even when you make his way to his office, right? Like you're starting to see all of the damage that Gray Fox did on his way there is still there, right?
The
and
blood is still there, and the slices are still there. Yeah,
and so all of the sounds of that fight are there playing through the the audio, and then like even there's like a little fun moment when you get into the office and Otacon's like fixing all of the security, and he had told you earlier what the code was. and then he's like, "Hey, Snake, I forgot what the code was.
Did you
can
guys
enter it in for me?"
Preston, did you remember?
Yes,
Did you
as soon as he
Because,
told me
like,
the code, I'm like, I'm writing this fucking down real quick because I need
So-
to ask
so
me
I-
later.
I didn't. He said it, and I like, okay, I said it to myself like twice. I was like, I'm gonna need that. And he goes, oh, it's fine. You're not gonna need it. I have it. And I was like, no, I don't trust that. So I'm gonna say it to myself. And then I got there, and I was wrong. I was like off by a number.
What'd
And
it do?
you get the little. It gave you the little like doo on your psyche because like
Yeah.
you're old. He's like, it's okay. You're getting older. Like it's no big deal. I found it here. And just like, fuck you, Otacon. You son
Yeah,
of a
so
bitch.
Preston knows. So if you do it right, Otacon's like, "Nice job. At least your memory hasn't gone yet." And then Snake's like, like I told you, I knew. It's
Yeah.
steel trap up here, baby." So, but yeah. So then it's tons of different stuff like that, right? Like it's just you are you're going through and Otacon, as you're in the office, he's like, "Hey, 1 second," and he is like tosses up an image from one of the security cams, and it is Vamp and Naomi making their way down the like main hallway, and there's a part here where Otacon is like, I don't understand why she did this. Like, and he's like, and Snake, don't feel bad. Like, I also got tricked. And Snake's like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, if she wanted to betray, it would have been easier to do this. Like, why go through all the trouble of us doing this just to leave and do this? And he's like, there has to be something else going on. And then, Otacon's like, yeah, I don't know. And then you go to start moving forward, and he's like, okay, well, don't have security. Like, I've unlocked all the doors. And he was like, he goes, so now the door that was locked before should open up for you. And Snake goes, this almost makes me nostalgic for the days where you needed a key card for every door. And if you start messaging the flat, it shows all the different key cards that we had throughout the first playthrough. And Otacon goes, yep, it's been 9 years. All you really have to do is reinterpret the old technology in terms of the new. Getting old isn't all that bad, And then he goes, let's get going, Snake. And so from there, right, they start to make their way all the way back down.
Did we miss maybe it's coming up and I won't say too much, but did we miss the disc change spot?
Nope, we're getting there.
Okay.
Yep. And so, because that comes after this fight. So as we make our way out, so we're heading our way towards the hangar, right? So there's obviously, to get there, Otacon basically says like, hey, this is he had already told us before, but it's like, this is the path that we're going to go. And it's just like, yep, you're going to do exactly what you did in the fucking first game. And so the next part that we're here is where we originally fought Vulcan Raven, right? So that big open field, or the first fight with Vulcan Raven, I should say. And
the tank fight.
And we have our third B&B here waiting for us. And it is Miss Crying Wolf herself. So just like before, I will give a brief explanation of her.
She was in the spot where Sniper Wolf was at.
Sniper Wolf. Yeah.
Not
we
Vulcan
made it
Raven.
through.
No.
We made it.
Because we passed out Vulcan Raven's spot, which is where the two geckos were. We went further in, past the door, and you go to the spot
went to the
because if you
towers.
go
You're
to
right.
the,
Yes, I have them flipped. You're right.
if you go to the shed right next door, you get an old Russian sniper rifle that you can pick up right
Yes,
there.
you do.
Which I thought was like,
You're right.
that's a nice
You're
little
right.
touch.
Yeah. And then also, yes, you're right. Sorry, I have it flipped. But yes, so it is the Sniper Wolf fight. But then I'm thinking of the one at the end where she kills Meryl in that hallway, or doesn't kill Meryl, but yes.
Yeah.
Either way. So yes, just like before, I will go over the boss fight, and then I'm going to do a brief overview of her stupid ass backstory, and then we will go from there. But yes, so this fight is, I think, to me, this fight felt like what Kojima might have actually wanted to do with the original Sniper Wolf fight all those years ago, right? So like, because with the PS3's graphics, it makes it so that it's like when the weather comes through, right, and it's like super heavy on the blizzard, and you can't see, and you're trying to see, and you have to put the night vision goggles on, and then try to see these things, and like do all this stuff, because of obviously just the jump in technology between the PS1 and the PS3. I think it was a more fleshed out version of the Sniper Wolf fight, but it really is basically the Sniper Wolf fight again.
Sure. So that she's in a giant beast thing that can just jump around and run around all places. Yeah.
Right. So that's what I was going to say.
Her gear looks like Gray Fox's gear, but
yeah. Well, yes. When she's in the shooting form, yes. But so the main added thing is like what Preston said is that there are sections where she will run after you in the robot dog, and she will try to jump at you or swing at you or whatever. And then she also has enemies that are running around through the frog unit that will try to get jumps on you or report your location to her or anything like that.
Where did you guys fight her from?
I started off from afar a little bit because you can see her with the night vision clear as day because it's just a big yellow spot. I'm like, okay, I'll shoot her a couple times there. I moved up to that one little kind of power section, like not the towers yet, but like in that power section. She was kind of running back and forth a little bit with that, and then it's just more or less of me turn on night vision, see where the tracks are going. I can see her in the distance. She tries to shoot me. I take a couple sniper shots at her, and then we just kind of rinse and repeat around that area. I didn't go. I went up to the tower sections later.
I just went up the tower.
I should have
from the tower.
But yeah, I didn't go into those tower sections until later. I'm like, okay, let's go up there, get the PTSD flashbacks.
Yeah, so all I do is so I just use the trank handgun at first, and I just trank all of the frog soldiers.
Same.
So that they can't do anything.
They all died in my playthrough.
Of course they did. Of course they did.
Going at them.
Yeah, so I tranked all of them, and then I ran up the tower, and then from there I just take out the trank sniper rifle, and I just shoot her, and then I'm done. But yeah, so she can do that. She has but in general, it is the Sniper Wolf fight in that you are she is running from place to place trying to get a shot on you, and you are running from place to place and trying to get a shot on her. And after we finish it, Drebin calls and gives us another breakdown of the B&Bs and is talking about how that just like the other ones, she lived in a village. It was attacked by a rival armed faction, and her parents and her siblings were all killed. She was left to be a refugee. She was taken in by she took in her last surviving relative, which was her baby brother. And she ran as far as away as she could from the war zone. And then they came across, she ran into like an enemy unit that was there. And her brother started to cry. And so she knew if the soldiers heard the noise that they would find them and kill them both. So she wrapped her hands around as tight as she could around his mouth, so that he wouldn't be able to make any noise. And when she came back to her senses, her brother wasn't crying anymore, and she realized it was because she had killed him. She had suffocated him. And so then she basically, so then Trevor goes, it said that that wolves eat their young sometimes, and she's like, and she was spotted walking around the battlefield carrying her dead baby brother. And she had visions too, a wolf walking alongside her every night. The wolf would howl and cry, just like her brother did that day. And she eventually makes her way to a refugee camp. And the camp was crowded with refugees like herself, but also little children like her little brother. And so she would hear the babies crying, and it would send her into a spiral. And so one of the days she asked the wolf that was following her to make it stop. And so one by one, all of the babies were silenced in the refugee camp that were crying. But lo and behold, it wasn't the wolf that was doing it. It was her. She killed all the babies. And she couldn't bring herself to admit it, obviously. And so then the next day, she was just howling or during this whole process, she was howling like a wolf, killing them all. And she was just a lonely beast forever stalking the battlefield, is how Drebin describes her at the end.
Her story was stupid. Yep. She was the least attractive of the three so far. Which also is negative points.
Sure. that is not even a thing, but sure.
It was it's a thing, Preston. He knows. It's
I thought she was pretty attractive, but
least attractive of the three. But
you would say that, but that girl was Preston's type.
You had the scene with the spirit wolf that was cool, but also there was so much eye-rolly stuff, not just to her backstory, but to like.
So that wasn't a spirit wolf.
Okay, well, the real wolf, whatever. But like
that was a wolf left over from Sniper Wolf, so that and
I
it
thought
had
she
the
had
heart
like
above
a
its
quick
head.
thing like with an actual.
But it kind of like
spirit wolf.
It kind of like apparated.
Oh,
and then, like,
sorry.
disapparated.
During her final death scene, I thought you guys were talking about when the wolf comes and picks her up and carries her away.
No.
Yeah.
Before that, there is a imaginary wolf that shows up. Yeah.
Yes.
But the whole like Sniper Wolf in the same we're fighting this one in the same place that Sniper Wolf.
Fate and destiny, Alex.
Just the dumb shit there. Honestly, and this is neither here nor there, but I think a character that could have gone invisible would have been a cooler sniper fight than this big ass wolf running around. Just because you wanted the like juxtaposition of like the wolf back then and the character with the wolf today, and it's like, oh, all right, not the best use of your B&Bs, but whatever.
The only thing that I appreciate about it is that at the very end, when the regular wolf, the actual wolf, like from the Sniper Wolf, like comes and picks her up and takes her away, it has the same little heart emojis from when the wolves do, like when they like Snake and all that other stuff, and it's sitting there. And that, I think, was the only Easter egg, a nice little nod in that entire fight that I was like, oh, that's cool.
Follow you around the place, because I was doing a whole lot of picking up items and stuff like after I finished her, and that wolf will just follow you around the whole place. I tried to pet it.
So I hang out with you and chill.
I thought it would have been. I didn't see that part because I didn't run around too much afterwards. I think it would have been cooler if, as part of the cutscene, if it walked out, sniffed your hand, gave you the little hearts before it went over and picked her up and walked off. I think as like a I recognize the smell, like that would have been cool.
Here's what would have been cool: if you would have saw it nearby this little shed that you found the sniper rifle, and the dog would help you find that BB. Like it would go where it's
cool
nearby.
Too.
Be like, okay, I just need to find the dog, and I can find the invisible lady. Like that would have been great because like the wolf recognizes your smell, so it's gonna run around and it's gonna like help you like try to take down the other BB. Like that would have been.
That would have been cool too. Yeah, like there are some cool things they could have done with the wolf, but instead Kojima really just wanted like you fight the boss in the wolf suit with the wolf name
also,
in the same place the first game. It's like
where's the fucking wolf taking her? Like what is he doing with her?
I don't
know.
Where is he going?
Back to the wolf den. Back to the wolf.
To feed it to the family? I don't know what the fuck it's doing.
Who knows? Honestly,
that's one of those where you should have had different endings depending on how you took them out. Because I continue to do the non-lethal, and then maybe you take it away. It's like, oh, the wolf is going to care for it. Like you could in your headcanon, you could play that off if you gave it a different ending based on how you ended her. But you don't.
I still tranked her.
Missed opportunity. And
there's a couple things in this.
Yeah.
And who knows? Even if he is taking her back to feed her to the young or whatever, that's about what she deserves, being a crazy child murderer. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah. We've just given up on talking.
I thought we were taking them all in to like help heal them, but like apparently the wolf just gets to have this one and walk off with it. But apparently we've been leaving the other ones just lying about, all curled up in the fetal position.
I'm assuming that. This is my personal headcanon. There is no proof of this whatsoever. I believe that when we leave the area, Drebin just comes back and picks them up.
Yeah, puts them in a psychiatric whatever. Yeah,
I believe that Kojima did not think about it.
No,
I don't.
That's not what I believe. That's probably what.
Yeah. And to be fair, because most of the bosses that we kill in Metal Gear, outside of a couple, they all just die on the spot anyway. So, but yeah, so. We make our way back, and we are hitting the elevator that will then take us towards the hangar. And this is the scene that, Alex, you were talking about, where Otacon, as we go to make our way through the door, Otacon goes, "Hold it, Snake. It's time to change the disc." I know, it's a pain, but you need to swap disc 1 for disc 2. Do you see the disc labeled number 2? And Snake goes, "No." And then Otacon goes, "Oh wait, we're on the PS3 system. It's a Blu-ray disc, dual layer too, so no need to swap."
I got so worried. Oh, go ahead, continue.
He goes, damn it, Otacon, get a grip. And then Otacon's like, yeah, what an age we live in, huh, Snake? Wonder what they'll think of next. And then he just hangs up.
The dual layer thing, like, I was so torn because there was one part of me that was like, that's a pretty good Easter egg. And then there was exactly 50% of me on the other side that goes, ugh.
You could just cut that
like
off like
so
halfway through.
Stupid,
also,
heavy-handed.
This guy
so dumb.
thought there was a disc 2 for a second there. I'm like, oh shit, did I just buy a game with only one disc? I'm like, fuck. I'm like, he's like, but Blu-ray. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, you got me. I seriously thought that I was missing a disc out of my used game.
When he was like, oh, we're on the PlayStation 3 system with Blu-ray, like my eyes almost rolled out of my head. So it was 50-50 of like, that's clever, but also it's like, this is so dumb.
Oh, real quick, I did end up using the iPod like in the earlier section. Do you know there's a podcast episode on that iPod?
Oh no.
Yeah. It's the guy who is like going over like is it with, I think it's with Kojima too, to where they're talking about like there's an episode of this, and then like, you know, as it comes out, like we'll be adding more episodes to this podcast, and I'm like, oh, this is like old school, like,
so
like
you go and pick,
in the future.
You can find some extra ones, but I believe that is how they ended up doing the director's commentary for the game.
Yeah, exactly. So
I
found that in there. I'm like, oh, that's
that you can play.
Kind of funny. They got a podcast in here.
If you go back to like a New Game Plus, are you able to play that from the beginning? Does it kind of sync up to places you are? That's pretty impressive.
Kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so because it's different episodes that you pick up, so I think you play the episode based on the level that you're in. If I remember,
it sounded like the first one when I was in Shadow Moses, because I haven't played it all. So I think you listen to it, and then maybe later on it just updates with a new episode. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, I don't remember exactly.
So the first episode was the only one available in Shadow Moses. Well, I didn't check for previous levels, but like I noticed the episode 1, and it was the only episode that was there when I checked.
Yeah, I don't remember all the details around it, but I know that it's supposed to be the director's commentary sort of thing, which it did make me think about too. This is totally an aside, but I'm the kind of person, like, I loved director's commentaries on things, like for things that I really liked.
Allie does too. She absolutely does, yeah.
And video games was no exception. They used to do that all the time too, and I always thought that it was the coolest fucking thing after you would play through a game and then have director's commentary playing over it and have them talk about it and all this other stuff. It was fucking awesome. And it's just but you know, no one gives a fuck anymore, and so that's never going to get included in anything.
I saw a article the other day that said it's time that video game developers bring back the old school cheat codes, right? And like I think a lot of the old stuff, like cheat codes, some of the great Easter eggs, things like you just said, that like
if I launched a game today,
go backwards a little bit and bring back some of that great stuff.
I think in general, it's time to go to pre-social media times. But like, dude, if I launched a game today and it launched with something and it said special features on it, I would fucking lose my mind. I'd be so excited. But yeah, so he does that bit, and then we make our way through the furnace area, just like we did, like, you know, same way before. There's a door that is locked. We have to go basically the long way around. We get there. And we make our way to the next big section here. And as we sort of make our way into the hangar, boom, we get the shot of Metal Gear Rex exactly where we left him. Except Otacon noticed that as soon as the sort of camera zooms out, that the railgun has already been cut off. And Otacon goes, of course, Liquid doesn't need the whole Rex to launch his nuke. He only needs the railgun. And then Snake goes, damn it, has it already been shipped? And Otacon goes, hang on, I'll check. And he's like plugged directly into Rex trying to look for it. And then a voice who sounds just like our old pal Vamp goes, I'm afraid so. He goes, unfortunately for you, the railgun is no longer here. And as soon as we see Vamp, then Naomi comes out from behind him and is completely draped over him. And Vamp goes, this place will be your grave as my queen. Naomi says that she's basically like like, you know, murder him. And Vamp goes, this place will be your grave as my queen wishes. The suicide gecko are on their way. Soon there will be nothing left of this place. And Snake goes, Otacon, we've been had. And he goes, Snake, I think I might be able to get it working. I just need some time. And Snake goes, hurry. And Naomi goes, I'll leave the rest to you. And Snake tries to call out to Naomi, but she just basically just flat out walks away from us, and Vamp jumps down to the ground. And Snake sort of gets ready to fight, and he goes, excellent, you'll amuse me until they arrive. And then asks us to kill him. So then this is where we get the boss fight with Vamp. So I'm going to talk about how you're supposed to do it, obviously, because I knew how to do it. I don't know. There's obviously many methods for you to find out how to do this, but we'll see. You guys can talk about your experience with the fight afterwards. So the way you're supposed to do this is you are supposed to get Vamp down to low health. This is you can do a trank method in this, but it doesn't change anything. His health has to go down.
Right back up.
Yep. So his health has to go down, and when he gets down, he will lay down on the ground for a second and then stand back up, and you'll see him start to do his healing process like he normally does. When he gets the healing process, you need to grab him with the CQC, like you can do for all the enemies in the game and everything else, except this time you need to inject him with the nanomachine suppressant that we've been using to, that Naomi gave to make our nanomachines chill out. You hit him with that suppressant, and that stops him from healing. And so when you do that the first time, Vamp is like, what have you done? And Snake goes, there, now you're immortal like the rest of us. And then you just fight him one more time after that. And then this time he does... so you get ready to start to fight him one more time. But as soon as you are getting ready to fight, the Suicide Gecko show up and they bust through the doors. And Snake is like... Otacon goes, Snake, look out, they're rigged to self-destruct. And so they all start to jump at Snake, and it's getting ready to explode, and everyone's like, oh no. And it cuts to all these video things, and then all we see is sword slashes across the screen.
Yeah, my boy, he's back.
And Raiden goes, Snake, sorry to keep you all waiting. Because, obviously all the Gecko fall in half as soon as he cuts in. And Snake goes, are you ready for this? And then Raiden goes, Sonny gave me the go-ahead. And that was I thought that line was really good because you're like, hell yeah, all right, he's really back then. And so then now the best part is that we get a really cool... I think this part of this fight is actually very cool. So we are still technically in a boss fight with Vamp, however...
Hot take, I disagree. I think it was a shit way to do it.
It's not a hot take. You can just have that take. Anyway, so you are basically keeping all of the Suicide Gecko off of Raiden's back while Raiden is fighting Vamp. And the screen is basically split in two, and you have your view on the left-hand side, and then you have the view with Raiden fighting Vamp on the right-hand side. That is basically it. It's honestly kind of like the end of Metal Gear Solid 2, where there's that first part of the fight with Solidus where Raiden is just shooting those rays, and it's just a battle against time. It's the same thing here. You are just killing all the Suicide Gecko until the time is met so that Raiden can finish the job here. And when you look over, it is definitely, Preston, you'll agree, but it is basically early Revengeance footage almost of Raiden fighting Vamp over here. They're doing sick ass moves, fighting each other, doing all this shit. And you get the railgun that you had from fighting Crying Wolf. And you can use that to shoot. You can use all sorts of weapons, to be fair, to kill these Gecko, but the railgun is the most fun one to use.
Yeah, small shot.
Basically, as they're fighting, Raiden is able to finish off Vamp with a vertical slash, just straight right down, like an old samurai flick almost. And then kicks him off the top of Rex, and so Vamp just splats on the ground. And Otacon yells at us to get out of the way. Actually, before I keep going, I'll pause because that's technically the end of the fight. There's more stuff that happens after this, but I'll pause here. So, Vamp boss fight, Raiden intervening, all that stuff. What were your guys' thoughts on that part?
It took me a minute to figure out the whole needle part because I'm going through it. I'm like, why? I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing to keep him from healing? Like, what the fuck's going on? So I try to kill him. I try to sedate him to get him down. I'm like, okay, well, no, this is happening. And I think I just looked up a guide at that point. I'm like, okay, just let me get it out of here because it's fucking, I'm tired with this vamp shit. So I look up the guy, like, oh, you just CQC him and inject him. Like, okay, cool, did that. And then it cuts to the split screen, which that was super dope. The whole Raiden showing up out of nowhere, it's fucking very cool. It's very Power Rangers-esque to where it's like, oh, we're getting the push down, we're getting our shit pushed in, and then the White Ranger shows up like, I'm here to fucking take care of some of this burden. The only thing I didn't like about it, I mean, I did like the split screen. The only thing I didn't like about it is Vam's like, let's battle like real men and use blades. I'm like, he's got a fucking katana in his hand. It's a fucking blade. But okay, let's put away the big blade and I can fight.
Well, no, he says that you're a scout. He said, so we should use knives, not blades. Yeah. And so, yeah.
Either way. I think Rita should have like, no, I'm just going to fucking kill you. Like, I'm here to like do this. Let's end this real quick. I got to help this other dude down here because there's a whole bunch of fucking gecko coming after him.
He does kill him with the samurai sword.
He does, but they sit here and fucking do this dance for fucking like 15. That's not 15 minutes. It's like 5 minutes. But you sit there to fucking do this dance for a couple minutes. It's like, I get it with honor and scouts and all this kind of shit, but like, just finish the man. Like, we're tired of him. Just take him out, say no, and just slice him real quick. We all have a little laugh at it, and we get the fuck out. Like, that's how I feel it should have been. But he wanted to do cool things, show more Raiden doing cool things. It's fine. I get it.
Yeah, the first part took me about 4 or 5 health bars before I eventually just looked it up because I was like, I don't know what to do. Like I was shooting the shit out of him. I was using the sniper rifle, taking him down quickly. After that didn't work after like 2 or 3 times. Like, all right, well, let's just.
Can I just tell you guys?
Mm-hmm.
I really do think it's funny that over the last 3 games, when I was telling you guys about using the codec or doing whatever, and you guys were like, oh no, use the codec, I know, blah, blah, blah. But then this game, since we haven't had to do that, you guys just didn't do it, and then you're like, fuck this, I'm just going to look up a guide, instead of just pressing the button.
But we've never called anyone on codec before, so I didn't think to do that.
I used the codec in other games many times. But,
I know you did.
But to Preston's point, it's not really something they reintroduce you to outside of like the mission briefings and stuff. So I didn't even think about it. Like it didn't even in my brain didn't even like think to do
they
it.
They do but there's other people that you can call in the codec during this game. So it's just that there's one person that I think this is my take on the mechanics. I think because you don't have to pull it up to save the game anymore.
Sure.
Yeah.
It makes people forget about it because
I couldn't think about what button it was either. Like
100%. I forgot. Yeah. I forgot it was even an option. Like it really. Yeah. I did.
I think it's because people don't have to use it to save anymore. It removes it from your brain, and because I will say, all of the other boss fights in the game are more or less straightforward enough, or they're basically plays on other fights that we've done before, right?
Yeah.
So it makes you like, I think I can get the gist of what's going on here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's why. I mean, I think that you hit the nail on the head, and that's why. Otherwise, I would have, but I did. I just looked up a guide. I was like, oh, okay.
It's fine. You can look up a guide. I'm just saying. I just remember the sass about it before.
Yeah. That part was fine, and then Raiden showing up was dope. I found it offensive doing the split screen as a to end this. So like we have chased this shit enemy through 2 games now. And like we've had multiple chances where you think you might kill him. A couple, even like Raiden, like you think you kill him earlier in the game and he gets back up, and like you said, this big fight where we did all this shit, and then you have to be doing actions while this gorgeous choreographed scene is happening. Yeah. You can't watch it. Like you physically, your eyes can't watch what's going on. And I think it's unfair to the player, and you miss so much of what should have been a great payoff, because I'm fine with how the fight played. Like I'm fine with the timing piece. I'm fine with shooting the geckos. I'm fine with doing all of this, but I was actually mad that like I did not get to watch enough of this choreographed scene. And like also it's a little frustrating that like Raiden comes out of this with like knives, and I just feel like he should have been better. and he would like anytime I did have a chance to glance over, he was getting like stabbed in the back with these knives by Vamp and other stuff. And I was
he does get hit one time, but again, he also has the same thing as Vamp, is that he has super healing abilities too. So
he gets hit like 4 times. At one point, he has 2
There's
knives
one point
sticking
where
out of
Vamp
his
is like,
back.
No, I'm not saying that he only gets hit one. I'm saying there's only one part of that fight where Raiden is getting the shit beat out of him. Otherwise, it's Raiden basically manhandling Vamp the whole time.
But again, like you may not know that. Like the only time I really had a chance to look over was like when he was getting popped, and I think it lined up perfectly with like taking down the 4 geckos before the second ones came in. So I was actively mad that I felt like Kojima thought this was going to be a cool way to do this fight, right? Like
I can tell you what he thought.
And I feel like it actually was a disservice to the player and took a payoff away from us. And that's what made me mad about it.
So I can tell you what he thought. What he was doing was, so to your point about this character being everywhere, I don't think that this works for a different reason, but it's more related to Vamp as a character. But to your point, we have been chasing Vamp forever, and it is this hated enemy. And to be fair, a lot of people like him and all this other stuff, right? I think that the reason that he does it like this is because he is trying to build the tension in the moment of
chaos.
Will Raiden survive? Because we don't know how that's going to work, because there's a very solid chance that Kojima just might let him get done up this time. We don't know. And then he's fighting Vamp, so they're going back and forth. And so you're trying to watch and like see, like, is he winning? Is he losing? What's happening? What's going on over there? At the same time, you're trying to focus on Snake shooting down these gecko to make sure that those don't blow up so that you don't lose the fight that way. And it is him trying to build tension into this giant moment that has culminated over these things. I think it doesn't work because I don't feel tension in that moment. So in both times I've played it, it wasn't really hard for me to pay attention to what was going on because the railgun is a one-shot kill to those gecko. And so
if you shoot him in the head, because there were some shots.
All it has to do is you have to let the charge get all the way to level 3, all the way in the middle, and it beeps at you and goes like ba-ding. And as soon as that does it, if you shoot it right there, no matter if you hit them in the toe or the head or wherever, it's an instant kill.
Okay, so I wasn't letting it charge fast enough because I was taking like 3 or 4 shots to take him out.
Level 2, if you shoot in the head, it'll get him.
Yeah.
But if you let it charge all the way up, it's an instant kill for the gecko. So in that particular instance, I don't have a problem watching because most of the gecko are like, I'm mostly just charging and making sure that one isn't near me, but I'm not looking back at my screen until I hear the beep, and then I'm like, okay, bang, and then I go back and forth and do whatever. So I can flip between them pretty easily to like see what's going on, to watch the fight, because it is a very cool choreographed fight. The reason I would say that is the tension never builds for me in the way that I think he wanted it to is because I just don't care about Vamp. I don't. Like, no matter what somebody wants me to do, I don't care. And in my head at the time, I think I was right in retrospect, obviously, because of the game that comes after this. But in the timeline, I mean. But like at the time when I was playing through it the first time, I was like, "There's no way that Raiden dies here because he's way cooler than Vamp." Like that was literally my brain, as I was like, "There's no way."
It's funny that I had the same thought, but for a different reason there, and I didn't feel the tension because I thought there was no way for Raiden to die because it would have been a literal literary sin to put a character on death's door for that long to bring him back to immediately have him die. Like that would literally, if that were a novel, a publisher would be like, you can't do that. You either have to kill him earlier or you have to do something. Like that's against the rules. Now it is Kojima, so he could have done it, but the whole fight I was like, he literally can't die here because that's not allowed. Based on how he wrote this character so far.
But I just don't care about Vamp. I just don't. I've always thought he sucked. Now I know that I'm in the minority for that, so that is fine.
He's gotten better to me. I didn't like him in the last game. In this one, he is white toast. so he's very meh. But
Yeah.
because he's the leader of this group, and because he had the hand-to-hand combat fight, I didn't care about him, but it was fine. It was fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like, it's
He's
better
not
than it
running on
was
water
back
and
in
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fine.
But yeah, so I think that's what he's going for there. And obviously it'll work to varying degrees for people for different reasons or whatever. I will say, just in general, the one takeaway I have from this fight is that the scene itself, like, taking away Snake's view, if you're just looking at the view with like that fight between Raiden and Vamp, it is very, and Alex, you already mentioned it, but it is a very well choreographed fight. It's very cool. But yeah, so
Which is why it's insane in a game where you have a 71-minute cutscene, you wouldn't have given us a 3-minute choreographed video to watch. It doesn't make it.
Yeah.
It's fucking nuts. It makes no sense.
It's Kojima. Does anybody else have anything about the fight? Are you all,
No,
is everybody good? Okay.
That's that. Yeah.
So as like I said, so Raiden kicks him down, and Otacon is like, I got it, and he brings Rex down to the ground. And who comes out from behind Rex but Naomi? And she goes, he was never immortal. His natural healing abilities were enhanced by the nanomachines inside his body, but after so many battles, he's finally reached his limit. And I was like, no, it's not because it's not because it's so many battles. It's because I injected him.
Yes.
He would still be here if I didn't inject him. But once again, you piss me off, lady. And so then Vamp is like, doctor, ease my pain. And then Raiden goes, Naomi, Sonny asked me to tell you something. And she goes, what is it? And he goes, I cooked them right. And you can hear in Raiden's tone, he goes, I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to mean, but I know that I just did up your boy right here, so I'm just telling you what she told me to tell you. But I'm about to do you up too. Like, anybody can catch these hands is what I'm basically saying. But she goes, I see, good for you, Sonny, you finally did it. And she lifts her head up as she starts to cry, and she retrieves a syringe, and Vamp is like reaching out to her, but she sort of stands up and steps away, and she goes, and she basically stands up to like get around him and like put her arm under him, and she goes to inject him, and he like yanks it from her and injects himself, and as his body starts to like spasm or whatever, and she goes, now you can return to your true self, you can be at peace. And he's like, I can die? And then she goes, yes. And he basically just passes out dead in her arms, and she goes, forgive me. And she starts to cry, like she's like holding him and starts to cry. And Otacon goes, this doesn't change anything. Why? And I was like, this is the first sentence that Otacon has ever said that I'm like, I agree with you. This was the right thing to say to Naomi. And she like sort of like wipes away the tears, and she's like, we can't erase the past, nor can we forgive it. And so the only thing we can do is end it. And I so badly, if I was one of these characters, I would have interrupted and go, but you know what you can do about the past? Be wrong about it, which is what you did when you blamed Snake for killing your brother when he really had nothing to fucking do with it, and then turned him into a genetic superweapon for a petty revenge thing that you only later learned out after you injected him with was wrong. And you're like, well... And it's like this insane hand wave from her where she's like, well, what can you do? The past is the past, right? I can't forgive anybody for what they've done. Like, I can't forgive you for killing my brother, but you can't forgive me for turning you into a weapon. It's like, I didn't do that on purpose. Like, it was not a thing that happened. He got hired by the enemy, and what do you want me to do? Like, I'd lay down and die? Like, what? It's just so fucking stupid. Anyway. I Naomi. But so then she takes the syringe from Vamp's hand and is looking up, and she goes, Snake, Liquid's down below. He's stolen the Patriot system. He slipped out of their sight and taken their ark. A warship that's unfettered by land, law, or country, or network. The only place where they are truly released from the shackles of the Patriots. The place where they can be free from. Outer Haven. And she goes, Liquid plans to launch the nuke from that ship. Snake, have been given life so that you may fulfill your purpose. When all of this is over, you will have no choice but to accept death. We are given life only so that we can atone for our sins. Your life was created for that very purpose. We all must atone for our own sins. We must not pass them on to the next generation. We must not leave them for the future. That is your fate. One that even you cannot defy. And she starts to inject herself with a syringe because the building is starting to come down now because more Gecko are starting to make their way back down. And she is like reacting to the injection, and Otacon is like, Naomi, and Snake goes like, what have you done? And she goes, Vamp and I, we are the same. We are living corpses. Our bodies barely kept alive by nanomachines. And she explains that she has cancer. And that she's like, I shouldn't even be alive right now. The nanomachines have kept it from progressing, but there's nothing more they can do. With the nanomachines gone, time will unfreeze and begin to flow again. And Otacon's like, what are you saying? And she's like, goodbye, Hal, and then injects herself again.
Like, you could have not injected yourself, and who knows how long you would have lived.
Ostensibly forever, because the nanomachines would have just continued to keep her alive. Whatever.
Yeah. And then, like, you could have.
I don't care. I don't. I know that this game.
It was just
done.
so. It was
she should have
so.
died. If you wanted
so eye rolling.
If you wanted any redemption from her, she should have got it before, like when she like jumped off of the helicopter and came with Drebin and everything. Something should have happened to her then. She could have died then, and we could have gotten a little bit of redemption on that. At this point, when her going back to fucking Liquid and Vamp and like being all like handsy on fucking Vamp's hairy fucking chest and shit like that, I'm like, fuck this chick altogether. She's trying to get rid of these fucking stupid ass tears. Like, I don't even give a shit about Hal's fucking sitting over here out of kind of being like, oh, I'm so sad. I'm like, why? Why are you sad? She betrayed you. She fucked you and then wanted to go hang out with her vampire boyfriend. And then because we defeated him, now she wants to kill him and kill herself. I'm like, fuck her. She should be buried in the fucking rubble. The nanomachine should keep her alive and buried under there alone by herself the entire fucking time as that island goes into the water.
Yes. I 100% agree with all of that you just said.
Yep.
Fuck her.
I 100% agree.
It's the worst part
of
it.
But I'm just gonna say, like, even on top of all of that, you didn't give her any redemption arc. And then you took away her chance at a possible redemption by having her unnecessarily killing herself when she had no reason to. Like, none of it made any sense for her character.
In my opinion, her first best time to apologize for what she's done was right after Metal Gear Solid 1. That was the first best time. The second best time is literally every moment since then. But I think an actual redemption for her could have been, it could have been so easy or a start at a redemption, I should say, because I still wouldn't have forgiven her, but whatever. When we first meet up with her after the helicopter scene, right, or before the helicopter scene, when she's doing those tests and everything, and then she finds out that she's inadvertently turned us into a bioweapon, it could have been a moment where she comes to grips, right? Like, her and Snake have this talk of like, look, we haven't talked in 9 years. We haven't had a chance to talk in 9 years. So we haven't talked about all these things that happened and been like, look, I was wrong. Like, I blamed you for my brother's death all those years ago, and I was willing to use you and your brother to get back at the entire system that caused my brother to die, right? Like, and so I realize that was wrong now, but that's, that's what happened, is this whole thing, and there could have been a dialogue about it, right? And then Snake could have had a choice there of like, do I forgive you? Do I not? Whatever, blah, blah, blah. And because even I think that there would have been a thing where Snake would have, because Snake does have this mentality of like, I'm not mad at you for what you do in the heat of battle, which is the same reason why I wasn't mad at Gray Fox for wanting to fight me, even though we were best friends up until that point, because it's just what happens in war, right? Like, sometimes you're just on the other side and there's nothing you can do about it. And he even says, like, in Metal Gear Solid 1, he's like, there was no ill will during that fight. Like, I was not upset at Gray Fox for being on that side. It's just what happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like, you could have had that kind of talk, and Snake has shown throughout his entire course that he is not that kind of person that would hold that kind of grudge just based on the way that he was trained to grow up and all that other stuff, right? You could have had a moment there, but she doesn't. She never ever is like, the closest she gets is that one phrase that's up above, which is just like, there's nothing you can do about the past. You can't forgive it, and all you can do is just try to atone for it going forward. It's like, okay, but all you can do is atone for your sins later. It's like, yeah, but you haven't even done that. Like,
you're a researcher and a scientist. You should be working day and night to figure out what you can do to help in any sort of, like, can you prolong Snake and his health ailments or whatever? Like, that's what you do. And you were the cause of this. And like, again, even that could be the beginning of redemption. And instead you're just like off yourself because reasons. Like, oh, I have cancer, and like, but it's all frozen. It's like, okay, then let's keep going. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. So she starts to fall over, and she's like injecting, and she goes, like, the Mark III, like, Otacon tries to like reach out and like stop the thing, and she kind of like shoves it over, and she's like, give my best to Sonny, and he goes, Naomi, don't do it. And then she goes, are you crying for me? And then he goes, Naomi, and then boom, injects herself again. And he's like, Naomi, why? And then she like reaches forward and like touches the screen, and she's like, you have such beautiful eyes. I'm sorry for everything. And she goes, now go, and then shoves him, and Otacon's like, Naomi. And he just like keeps saying it over and over again.
She loved the edgelord, bro. Move on.
I know, dude. But so then Snake goes to like reach down to pick him up because Raiden's like, yo, we got to get moving. And Otacon like shocks him with the wire arm and is like, don't touch me. And it's like, you are the biggest drama queen on the planet. But so Snake picks him back up.
The next scene where he's crying is the biggest drama queen on the planet.
Yeah. Okay, I know, yeah. So they're getting out, right? Like, they're getting ready to try to make their way into Rex to be able to leave. And Otacon's like, why does it always end this way? And then we start getting a flashback of him crying over fucking Sniper Wolf, which is insane. Because, again, a woman that barely knew you existed, but that's fine. And, so he keeps repeating Naomi, and, Raiden is like, they toss everybody in the cockpit. Raiden's hanging on the side, and he's like, they are coming right now. And then Snake is basically like, get a hold of yourself. Like, and he yells Otacon's name and then says, get a hold of yourself. And he says that you need to pull yourself together. And he goes, Snake, you're right. I haven't lost everything yet. I've got a job to do. And Snake's like, that's right. We still need you. He goes, I'm done crying. I don't have any more tears to shed. And he goes, we got to get out of here. And so he basically gets Rex back up and running. And this is a very cool part that happens next. But as Snake and them are walking out of the hangar on Rex, then Naomi is like reaching out to them as they leave, and she goes, promise me that you will carry on our will. And from there we get the next gameplay section, which is we get to use Metal Gear Rex to run through the rest of Shadow Moses.
Hell fucking yeah.
And just mow down a million fucking gecko on our way there. It's very cool. It's very fun. But there gets to be a point about halfway through where no matter what, you've probably taken a little bit of damage at this point. And so halfway through, Raiden goes, you know what? Don't worry about it. I've got your back. And he hops off, and now you don't have to worry about any gecko behind you. He's just destroying them all behind you. So you make your way through, and as you get out, you see that Raiden is making his way towards the exit, doing like sick backflips, like cutting people as he's backflipping out. But they self-destructed, and it brings the rubble down, and Raiden he's underneath a bunch of rubble. It looks like he gets crushed underneath some rubble. And so before we have a chance we start to turn around to go deal with that, but Otacon goes, what's that? And as the camera turns back around, we see a Metal Gear Ray jump out of the water, and it is.
As soon as they showed the water and said, what's that? I went, that's going to be Ray. And it was so hype when it comes flying out of the water and it's Rex against Ray. Like, well done.
Yeah.
Oh, and
The
this
Metal Gear
is
battle.
my point of it's so funny to me. I think that somebody on this team knew that the B&B fights sucked. And so they never leave us with just that in an act, right? And so this, like, we had to deal with that with the Crying Wolf fight, and it sucked. And then you get the Vamp fight, which is obviously a hit or miss thing. But then we get Metal Gear Rex versus Metal Gear Ray with Snake and Liquid piloting them, and you're like, this is cool as fuck. It really was so good.
Yeah, it really was.
And so Liquid opens up the cockpit and points at him, and he's like, brother! And he's like, it's not over yet. And Snake is like, Liquid. And then he goes, Moses, where our fates were born and where yours ends, Snake. And then, boom, the fight starts. And it's so good here. So there's obviously different ways that you can do this. But the main thing is that we're just using the 3 Rex weapons and his dodge, right? So Rex has a dodge from left to right or forward and backwards. And then he's got his Gatling gun, he's got the laser, and then he's got the missiles. And your main point here is to stop or catch Metal Gear Ray in an opening to be able to get damage done to him. And if you catch him in one of those moments, did you guys, any of you get Rex's finishing move that you can do on Ray?
No, I sped run this because I was a little spoiled on one of the tactics from the
guide.
The GDQ thing.
Oh, sure.
And literally just shot him in the dick over and over because it's right where his head is. And it's just insta stun. So I knew that tactic was there. I didn't know where this came about, so still hype when it happened. But because of the GDQ stuff we watched last weekend, I plowed through this in like a minute.
So it's very cool, but basically what happens is if you stun him and then you dash forward on him, there'll be a big triangle prompt and it shows like Rex stomping on Ray, and you press it, and while you like basically sweep, like Ray falls to the ground and then Rex is just like boom and just like stomps on him, and it's like cool. Just takes a huge chunk of his health. It's very cool. To your point, Alex, it is not the speed run. It's not the fastest way to beat him.
Yeah.
But I always do it this way just because I think it's cool and I love doing the WWE finishing move.
Because I feel that's what I was.
That's also fine.
So I didn't think about doing that, but that's very cool.
Yeah. But so I'm gonna pause here because the scene that happens right when we beat him,
the final scene
is basically the end scene all the way to the end of the act. So this is the final boss fight of this act. How'd you guys feel about it?
I'll just talk about the whole part in general. I mean, I know you're going to talk about the end in a minute, so I'll give my general thoughts. The whole Shadow Moses part so far is the best part of this game. Like, the nostalgic
1,000%.
hits, the dopamine you get while you're running through, and you know these hallways, and you know these rooms, and you're getting the flashbacks. Like, it was perfect. The Crying Wolf fight was not bad, but it was... I think there were missed opportunities.
And it's not even the best B&B fight.
It's not the best B&B fight. I literally was just like, Kojima said, we need something with a wolf fighting here in the Sniper Wolf spot for the feels. The Vamp fight was fine, and I get my thoughts on the ride and stuff. But like, minus that so far, this part has been phenomenal. But the part where you're Rex outside and like you're making your way out and you know Ray is coming. Like, I'm sure we all had that thought. Like, I
did not know until he popped out of the water.
No,
I was surprised at the very end.
As soon as they were showing the water, I was like, fucking Ray. And like, I was pumped. That to me has been the best part with all the reveals. It's been the best part of this game, in a game that's actually had some pretty good hits for me.
Yeah.
So the ending of this was good too. This act has been my favorite act of the game so far. It's been fantastic. There's something I'll talk about in a minute with the ship. You won't probably mention this, so I'll go ahead and just say it quickly. The one hack shit where I was like fucking stupid is when we see the ship that Liquid has taken over for the first time, and there's like a Mount Rushmore in gold on the side of it.
Yeah.
Could not have rolled my eyes harder at that. I thought it was the dumbest design I've ever seen. It was a little detail. It was fucking stupid. But otherwise, this act has been the best act.
This ship, by the way, this ship has been created. This ship was created. Liquid has taken it over, but the Outer Haven thing was Big Boss's Outer Haven. Like that is that whole thing. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, and I thought that was cool too, actually, and I think that builds on why this act is so good because it's tying back things that we've experienced in other games. It's also tying back things we haven't experienced because there are games we have not played, but they give enough context clues
and
that you can piece it together. So like
some of them aren't even in games, right? Like early, like even Metal Gear Solid 5, where you are doing the early stages of Outer Haven, isn't even what Outer Haven ends up becoming. Like some of this is just like in the broader mythos of Metal Gear. Like Kojima, to your point, we have heard about Outer Haven. We have heard what Big Boss did. We had heard, but part of it is also to like the SNES games, right? Like original Metal Gear, where Snake is killing Big Boss. Like, so part of it is all of these other. To your point about games we haven't played, but all of them is like even games that couldn't even be fully fleshed out the way that maybe they would have needed to be able to put on something like this, like on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, so I think all of this hits even. They do such a good job bringing it all together. So yeah, this is by far the best act of this game. I thought this whole playthrough was phenomenal so far.
It's great. Yeah, I mean, I don't have much to add to that. I mean, I kind of said my pieces on the battle as well. But yeah, it's just this has just been super nostalgia juices. Like it's hitting all the marks. Like for a game that's supposed to wrap up the story of the whole Snake. Like I think it's doing an incredible job. The only part I don't like is Naomi. We've talked about that plenty. I think she could have died within games beforehand, and we would have been all okay with it. She did not need to show up. You had plenty of other characters you could have put in here in her place that we wouldn't have hated as much. Maybe it should have been that way.
That's a fact. Yeah. So okay. So then we'll get this last scene here. So as this fight ends, it first shows Snake, and Snake is beat the hell up inside Rex right now. But then it cuts over to Ray, and the cockpit like sort of ejects him out, and he falls to the ground. And he's like reaching out to Snake, and he yells Snake's name, and Snake just says Fox, and then it cuts back to Liquid, and he says die, and then falls over. And then he shoots back up and points at it. He's like, think again. And then you're like, you got me. He goes, sorry, but that won't work this time. And then he goes, behold. And he hops back up and starts running. And Snake goes to give chase after him, but his arm is like completely shattered, basically, at this point. So he's got his rifle, and he keeps trying to like lift it up enough to get some good shots at him, but and he's like limping forward and chasing after him. And to your point, Alex, when Liquid gets to the end, as he's running and getting closer to the end of the pier here, Outer Haven shows up and is rising out of the ground, rising out of the water. And he goes, as the thing opens, and he's basically like pulling himself up on the the anchor almost. Liquid goes, this is the liberty that we've won for ourselves, Outer Haven. And he goes, and with this weapon, I will destroy JD. And it shows dead center in the middle now is Rex's railgun that is grafted to the middle of this of this ship. And he goes, and then everything ends and everything begins. But as for you, brother, you will stay here to mark this island's watery grave. And he goes, it's time to die, Snake. And it the ship basically pulls away from the harbor and aims directly at Snake. And then he's just like, fucking go full speed ahead and just goes to like ram Snake. And Snake is at the end of this pier, and he just kind of falls to his knees. Like, and he's basically fading in and out of consciousness already at this point. And we then cut to Raiden, who is trying to get out of the rubble, and he's trying to get to his sword, and he can't reach it, just so he dislocates his own arm to then reach the sword, and then goes, forgive me, Sonny, and then slices his own arm off.
Which was
hops
crazy.
Up, sick. And then runs and gets in front of the boat, and then slams himself up against it. And you can actually see in this moment where he's holding this boat back, and the boat dents in where Raiden's body is at. And he starts to move forward a little bit, And he then takes his sword out and then stabs it through his leg and into the ground so that he can't move. And he tells Snake to hurry. And Snake like wakes up and he goes to start running away, but he reaches out for Raiden. And because of Raiden holding himself there with the sword, the ground starts to just break underneath him and it starts to fall down. And so Liquid goes to basically pull away, and Snake is then starts to crawling away from Raiden, like he's crawling back towards the main shore. And Snake then sees Raiden start to fall away, and he goes no, and like reaches back out for him once Snake is in a safe distance. And the last thing that we see is Raiden start to fall away into the water, and he calls out Rose's name. And then it cuts to sort of Raiden falling basically on this little piece of debris, and it cuts to the codec call that we got from Rose and Raiden back in Metal Gear Solid 2. So, and it was her asking about the day that they met, and he's like, she goes, Jack, do you remember the day that we met? And he goes, yeah, it was in front of Federal Hall. They were all those tourists around you. She goes, they were asking me which building it was that King Kong was climbing in the movie, and I said it was probably the Chrysler building, and then you showed up and started mouthing off, and you were like, no, it's the Empire State. And he goes, I said the Chrysler building was in Godzilla. And she goes, we started arguing, and I forgot all about those tourists. And then he goes, the next thing we knew, the tourists had gone away, and a week later, I found you again by coincidence out in the base corridor. She goes, an amazing coincidence. And he goes, that night we went up to the top of the Empire State Building, and she goes, it was so beautiful. He goes, I didn't even care who was right anymore. And she goes, and that was our first date. And then he goes, we watched King Kong in your apartment a bunch of times that night, didn't sleep till morning. And as he finishes that, the lights turn off on his visor. And right there, it immediately cuts to Mei Ling saying fire. And she starts shooting at Liquid's vessel, and he goes, you worthless fossil. And then the fucking gates basically close. And Snake is now reaching down, and he keeps saying Ryan's name over and over again. But then all the scene does is cut, and it says that with only Raiden's sword protruding out of the rubble below, it shows Snake's, like, he's just, he just looks like awful. And he goes to he starts to have a seizure again. He goes to hit the syringe and inject himself with it, but he suddenly loses his energy, drops the syringe, and he falls to the floor. And then we hear a helicopter flying overhead and slowly descending to the ground, but then Snake loses consciousness and it fades to black. And that's where we get our save.
Yep.
So, yeah, that is the end of Act 4, and I'll just tell you guys, this next part, that's the end. We are making our way to Act 5. You guys obviously know the big cutscene's coming, so I'm just going to warn you now.
Buckets ready, get some drinks, some snacks.
You will have a couple gameplay sections here, and then a massive cutscene, and then what I personally believe is the smallest one, but is the best gameplay section in probably the entire series, and then another long cutscene, and that'll be the end. So
is with this long cutscene, like the hour plus cutscene, is that gonna be on top of like a normal game time, or does that make it the same? Because like all these chunks have been about
no. This act will be the same as all the acts that we've played. It will not be any different time wise.
So just make sure you're not doing general gameplay. A lot.
Just make sure you're not doing anything, because the main problem here is that you'll get a couple sets of credits because there's like an epilogue that happens at the end that is also a longer cutscene, but you cannot skip the credits in this game. You can't fast forward them. You can't do anything. So you are just sitting and waiting for them to end so that the epilogue can start and you can see more scenes. And then those those credits will play. And then you wait all the way at the end of those credits to be able to see your rating and see all the New Game Plus stuff. And then you're done.
Okay. Good to know. So we got a doozy in this last one. So cool. All right. Well, there you have it, everybody. Part 4 of Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots. One more to go. and we are all finished. And then
we're gonna know what the next game is after that.
Yeah,
who's gonna
we
pick
will. It's me.
Yay,
I know.
someone learned.
Yeah, I think because the next game we play from you, Christian, is different than these, right? Like Raiden's with Revengeance and stuff. The next week we'll have a chance to kind of talk about the Metal Gear series as a whole. Like,
Well, no, I still want to wait till the end of Revengeance to do that. But yes,
yeah, all right.
Because even though the gameplay is different, Preston can attest to this. It is just as much of a Metal Gear game as any of the other ones.
But story wise too, it ties into these 4 games.
Yes,
I'm sure.
Yep. It ties into Raiden. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I just feel like
it also there is other Metal Gear stuff there, but it is for reasons you will discover at the end of this game.
Mm-hmm.
There's only so much to check in on.
Sure.
Right. That's what I was saying. Okay. All right. Cool. And then after that, we'll play Metal Gear Solid 5. Maybe my game will be Metal Gear Solid 5.
Oh, God.
Because I know Christian's going to skip it. He's not going to do it. I'll make us do it.
I will play it, but I love the idea of you trying to talk about that game. You have so much fun.
So, all right, everybody. Well, thank you. Thank you for hanging out with us. We will catch you next time. Don't forget to check in with Preston as he has one final week of his spoopy game to finish it up. And with that, Preston, you know what to do.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to another episode of The Testing Room. To catch up on past episodes or to check out the newest ones when they drop, follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcast. If watching is more your thing, check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/@thetestingroom, or watch us live on twitch.tv/testingroomlive. To leave comments or ask questions, you can follow us on Instagram @testingroompod, leave a comment on YouTube, or send them in to testingroompod@gmail.com. See you next time.